morning. It's Thursday, March 27th. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. I'm Sade Campbell. I serve as the Enrollment Communications and Social Media Manager here at Houston Community College. Pleased to be joined by my co-host, Ms. Linda Davis, who serves as the Office Manager of College Operations at HCC Northeast. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning. Top of the Thursday, rainy morning to you, Sade. Did you swim in?
I know I'm a land sign. I don't like to deal with the water too much, but we got here and it is going to be a really good show. So for those that are need to catch up on some episodes, tell them how to find Up to the Minute.
Absolutely. We're live on Houston Community College's district Facebook page, not HCC, and YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and HCCTV at noon, 5 and 10, Monday through Friday.
Well, usually on Thursday, it is Thursday Family Fun Day here on Up to the Minute, but we have a serious topic to wrap out with Women's History Month, and we're going to be discussing our empowerment. Want to welcome to the show Dr. Dara King, who's the founder of Girl Talk. Good morning, Dr. King.
Good morning.
So happy to have you. You and Linda are going to have a really good conversation in just a second. But first, we'll welcome in one of our favorite HCC guests who has an event to kick off Community College Month, the Youth Teen Symposium. Want to welcome to the show Dr. Desmond Lewis, who serves as our Associate Vice Chancellor of HCC College Readiness. Good morning, Dr. Lewis.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
So happy to have you. So welcome back to the show. You are a regular. As we said, April is going to be Community College Month.
Right.
And Community College Month is really about access. So you've described the Youth and Teen Symposium as more than just an event for students. It's something for grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, and whole family. I kind of stole his line because he told me that, so he can't use it. So with rising costs, the shift in job market, evolving educational pathways for families knowing where to start is getting a little more difficult. How will this event help families take the first step?
Well, one of the things is the Youth and Teen Symposium, as you said a moment ago, is a holistic program where it invites everyone from the community, students, their families, so forth and so on. So what it will do, it will introduce every participant to the various centers of excellence we have at the college, also the various opportunities we have here from all of our different programs. So a person comes in, they have no information about college on that day, whether they're one of my favorite rappers, Big Daddy Kane, would say 8 to 80. No matter what age they are, they'll come in and they'll get the information they need. Remember, here at HCC, we're talking about a real world education. So we're making those connections, and we want to make sure if they're youth and a teen that we're guiding them along the way. One of the things that I say often is that here at Houston Community College, we're the Sherpa of higher education, meaning that we helping individuals traverse that rugged terrain that is higher education that sometimes individuals get lost upon. And I know that each and every person that comes to this event is going to leave with a lot more information than they did before they got there.
Love it. And before we get too far into the interview, let's talk details. Who, what, when, where.
Okay, so it's going to be at our Coleman College. And that's going to be on April 5th. It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So in regard to who, everybody, we have HISD bringing students. We have Fort Bend ISD bringing students. We've invited all of our ISD partners. And also Houston Parks and Recreation is bringing tons of students. So we have the entire community. And thank you to Dr. Latricia Harrison for again, hosting it for this year at her college. So it's going to give individuals that opportunity, and what they're doing is going to have these various sessions to be able to look at the state-of-the-art facility that is Coleman College, and also look at other programs such as DIT and the various other great centers of excellence programs we have at the college. So throughout that day, students will come in, they'll do a tour of Coleman College that will be facilitated by professors and professionals from Coleman College and at Coleman College on that day. Afterwards, they'll sit through a series of sessions that will bring them up to speed on opportunities for dual credit, opportunities for adult education and literacy, opportunities in health informatics, and all of the other programs we have here at HCC.
And during our conversations, and I've been on a committee, so I've heard you talk about this so much. You often say students don't know what they need until they need it.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize what's out there for them. So what are some of the opportunities at this event that people will hate they miss?
Oh, well, definitely. free education. So we have opportunities for free or low cost education. Of course, dual credit, there are opportunities for students to come in and take classes for free. We do have options here at the college to help individuals understand how they can skill up. And say, for instance, they're a working professional. So the parents come in with their kids or their grandparents come here. We know that we have those classes for seniors that are at no cost. We know we have classes for adults that are at low to no cost. And again, it's going to give everyone an opportunity to realize the best version of themselves. As Sade said a moment ago, you don't know what you need until you need it. Think about that. Your car is messing up. You're going to a mechanic. How many times have they told you a million other things that were wrong with your car that you didn't know anything about? Now, I'm not saying something is wrong with a person, but when they have things that can benefit them, you have to help people to understand how an education can transform not only their lives, but the futures of the city, their families, and the globe, in my opinion.
I wholeheartedly agree. And I always go back to something I've heard before, that exposure expands expectation.
Mhm.
So for a lot of people, events like this is the first time they have stepped foot on a college campus. And this will give them the chance to kind of break down that dynamic of, oh, I can't talk to a professor or someone
Right.
with a doctorate. I don't know what to say, and really check out. When we say state of the art equipment, this is simulation. You really are working on what you would work on in your field of interest. So what's one thing that people go to the symposium and you think they'll say, man, I didn't even know that was possible?
Well, I will say again, with Coleman College this year, so when they walk in and see that it's basically a hospital where individuals are learning, they're interacting with all of these different materials and equipment, things I'm not equipped to touch and I won't touch, but we'll have all those experts there. A few weeks ago, I was able to go through a tour and I was thoroughly amazed at all of the things I've seen. And there are two different locations for Coleman College, as everyone knows, and one of the buildings basically simulates a working hospital. And when you go from each one of those floors, you're able to see all of those different programs, the nursing, the dental assistant. And I can tell you, individuals are going to leave and they're going to be, wow, I had no idea, because literally it's as though they've walked into MD Anderson or any of the other hospitals in the greater Houston area and able to not only look, but to touch and see things. How many of you have gone to the hospital and when the doctor's left the room, you want to tap on one of those little instruments? In this case, you have a professional there that's going to show the individuals how those instruments work and demystify things that many individuals right now in many of the areas that we teach here at HCC that they don't know about. So again, I think just being at the campus, looking at that one college, they'll be able to see and say, wow, I had no idea this existed.
And one of the biggest things I don't want people to ever forget is that we're the only community college in the medical center. So being able to experience that through this event is going to be really amazing. So you've attended a lot of events like this. This is your second year hosting this event. Do you have any stories about how events like this have impacted students?
Sure. There are many a times students and families. Last year at the event where we hosted it, I remember there was a young man and his daughter that came from one of the high schools, and his daughter was thinking about going into dual credit and didn't know anything about dual credit. And the father was telling me a lot of different things. Long story short, since we were able to connect, because I believe HCC is a family, they called me personally, and I helped that student to get into dual credit that following semester. And also we were able to help members of his family to go into other programs at the college. There are many other stories along those lines, but one of the things that I think is going to be really interesting from last year too, we also host the Scripps Spelling Bee. So there were some individuals who didn't do too well at the spelling bee, but they were runners up. So we invited them to the Youth and Teen Symposium. And I remember this one young lady, and I told her, just call me Uncle Des, tell everyone when she showed up. And we really made it a special day. So the thing is, we did the same thing this year. The Scripps Spelling Bee was last week. Great event. Applaud to everyone there in Northeast College, all the folks over there that put that together. And those students and families, many of them will be at this event for the Youth and Teen Symposium. So again, I think it's about braiding all of the events that we can at the college to make sure that we are connected with the community at all levels. And I do think that that's going to be the most impactful portion of this event. So from last year to this year, what I'm looking to do is to continue to connect, to continue to support, and to continue to impact individuals' lives in a positive way.
And for those who have been hearing this spiel about how incredible this event is going to be, and you're wondering, man, I missed the date, the time, the location, run it back for them.
April 5th, Coleman College, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to give me a call, 713-718-5211, or just type in HCC Teen and Youth Symposium. That information you can log on there. Sade will get that information, get that over to us. But if you need to reach out to me, please reach out to me at any point in time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Desmond Lewis, who has joined us here in the studio. He serves as the Associate Vice Chancellor of HCC College Readiness. We'll have information posted about the Youth and Teen Symposium after the show. Well, after a commercial break, Linda will be back to talk about women empowerment.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Welcome back, everyone. And we'll be moving on to Dr. Dara King, who's the founder of Girl Talk with Dr. King, who we're talking to for Women's National History Month. Yes, this is the last week. We'd like to welcome to the show Dr. King. Welcome, Dr. King.
Thank you, and good morning.
Look, we're told by a colleague here that your program is designed to empower women of all ages by promoting self-advocacy and equity in women's health. But before we get into the nuts and bolts of the program, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I live in Maryland. I am an OBGYN by trade. I have been practicing OBGYN for 20 years, or a little bit more than 20 years, actually. I am a wife and I'm a mother of 2 boys, but the biggest thing is that I created this to decrease the health disparities in women of color, particularly Black women.
That is awesome. And welcome to Texas. I'm a native Houstonian, born and raised. I know we don't raise people, but that's what we say in Texas. So welcome to Texas. We've been going through our rodeo week, so I might have some residuals on me, but welcome. Now, tell us a little bit about what Girl Talk with Dr. King, and why did you create it? What is it all about?
It is a health education platform for women to be empowered, for women to have information. The tagline is conversations women want and conversations girls need. It's about talking about things that people don't really want to always talk about. It's those subjects that are taboo but shouldn't be taboo. I created it in probably around 2021. Yeah, 2021, during the pandemic, where I felt like there was a need for us to be able to educate the community.
Well, tell us a little bit about the disparity among women of color, particularly Black women.
The biggest thing that I see in my specialty is that Black women are dying 3 to 4 times the rate of white women in childbirth. And so when you hear this, and this is alarming, people want to ask, well, why is that happening? And so we can talk about something called the social determinants of health, which is the non-clinical reasons that affect women's health. That could be education, that could be where they live, that could be health deserts, all these other factors that determines someone's health. So when we talk about that, and then we also talk about systemic racism, those are the reasons why we see the disparity. And one thing is lack of knowledge. So I'm coming in to be able to educate the community so that they can have a voice when they walk into that office.
Well, we appreciate you and your service. So tell us about some of the activities you're doing to advance women's health and empowerment. I saw an event at Morgan College Do you visit a lot of colleges, and will you be coming to HCC anytime soon?
I hope so. Yes. Actually, Texas is one of my favorite states. I have family in Texas. I have family in Tulsa. I used to have family in, well, yeah, in Dallas, right? And Tulsa is Oklahoma, actually, but we're really close. So
Yeah,
Dallas,
that's okay, but it's close. It's our
Oklahoma,
neighbors.
it's all down there. But I do hope to come there. One of the biggest things was that Morgan State University invited me to talk for their women's health event. And we chatted. It was so great because these students are so smart. I'm asking questions and they're really answering the questions. I thought that I was asking things that could stoop them and that I could teach them something, but they were able to have a discussion. And the biggest thing is that we created a safe space for people to be able to have meaningful conversations. And so I like to do that on a college campus where we're able to get the young women together. So we are isolated. We do not have any males in these talks, just so they can feel like they have a safe space. Questions are answered, and we learn a lot about women's health and things like one of my topics, especially on the campus, is safe sex versus safer sex, abnormal periods, birth control, things that maybe before they left home or in school, maybe their parents didn't talk to them about. I want them to be able to know that I'm a resource for them.
Well, that is great. So when you're out talking with these people, do they identify with you, and do they connect with you? Do you have any special stories that you could share?
One of the biggest things is that outside of the OBGYN work, I'm a mentor. And my special story is that this was back home in Detroit. I was mentoring a young woman. She was in 9th grade at my alma mater. I went to a school called Cass Technical High School. So she was 14. I was much older. And now she is married with 2 kids of her own, and we are still connected. And now she mentors I have boys, she mentors my sons. So to be able to be in this space and to pay it forward, I think that that's how we build community.
I absolutely agree. That is a beautiful story. It just came full circle, and that has to be so rewarding for you, being a mom and in your profession, to know that you've helped someone that can turn around and then help others. So, for the seminars and workshops, tell us a little bit about how that works and what that looks like if we were attending a seminar or workshop that you put on.
It depends on where we are. And actually, I went to middle schools, which was a little intimidating because middle schoolers are a different group of people. For them, that's, I have a permission slip. I make sure parents know what we're talking about. There's actually been parents who wanted to see the curriculum before. I'm able and happy to send that. So that's my middle schoolers in terms of the school seminars and workshops. Then I do high school, and then I do college. Outside of that, for women outside of school, they can have workshops and fireside chats. They like that one. That one is just, and one of them we call the wine down, where we actually have wine or non-alcoholic beverages, if you like, where we come and we just chat and we talk about, it's called Girl Talk because it reminds me of when we're talking with our friends, where we're at brunch and we're saying, oh, by the way, have you had this or have you heard about that? And that becomes another safe space. And although we're having fun, we're also being educated. So it's kind of different tiered for different generations of women, but my purpose is to bridge those generational gaps.
This sounds very, very intimate and fun and knowledgeable because, we talk with our girlfriends. We could tell them about the latest sales, and we could tell them where we can go get that fabulous cut or what have you. But this is something that we really need to be talking about because it involves our health. And, we as women, we put ourselves on the back burner. We're always last. But this is when we really should be focusing on ourselves, even at an earlier age. And I never thought about middle schoolers having that conversation or being involved in a way to have that conversation.
For middle schoolers, I think it's important because and this is not a good statistic, but the youngest person I've ever delivered was 14 who got pregnant at 13. So if we're not having these
Wow.
conversations in middle school, then we're kind of missing the mark. And what I'm talking about is just what's a period, that kind of thing. Or what if I don't feel safe in this space? Who can I talk to? Or things like that. But we cannot stop. We can't discuss. We have to discuss these things because young people are exposed and we don't know what they're exposed to with social media and TV and all those things. We have to be able to get them and educate them up so they know what they're doing.
Well, I tell you, if they're not educated and empowered at an early age, then this will impact their future. So you're doing a great work, a great mission. And we want to thank you, Dr. Dara King, founder of Girl Talk with Dr. King, who we're talking to this month again for National Women's Month. We got another week, and we'll have your information in the post after the show. Thank you again for being the guest on our Thursday Family Fun Day. This was fun.
Thank you for having me.
All right, coming up after a quick commercial break, Sade and I will return with some news and announcements. So don't go anywhere.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me and then you just linked arms with me. I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally like knew that I had somebody.
Welcome back. We're going to wrap things out like we always do on Up to the Minute with news and announcements happening around HCC and in our community. And it would only be appropriate after our last interview that we have a couple Women's History Month events to announce. The first one up is Women in STEM. In honor of Women's History Month, HCC Libraries will host an engaging event featuring guest speakers, maker spaces, student clubs, and refreshments at our HCC Central campus. It'll be happening today from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Check the post after the show for details.
We also have Women's History Wrap-Up at Southeast. HCC Southeast Counseling Service is conducting this month celebrating with women defining and refining success. Again, that's women defining and refining success, focusing on maintaining balance between mental health, daily challenges, and priorities. It'll be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. today, Thursday, March 27th at the Eastside Student Life Center. Check out the post for more information after the show.
Well, what's in a name? It's time to cast your vote. Prevailing feedback is that a name change for HCC will provide graduates with a competitive advantage, since the college has expanded to a level 2 institution. And that means that we now offer bachelor's degrees. Now, HCC is asking for help to choose one of 3 names. Those choices are Houston College, City College of Houston, or Greater Houston College, and other recommended, and you can recommend another name. So take the survey, use your voice. The deadline is Friday, March 28th. That's tomorrow. Details and the link on how to vote will be posted after the show.
K-Start Korean Culture and Language Session. HCC's Reading Culture, World Languages, Humanities, and Library Science program is offering an introduction to Korean language and culture to explore key phrases, traditions, and customs from Korea. Repeat session, Wednesday, April 2nd, West Loop campus. Check out the post for after the show.
All right, well, our HCC Central Drama Club will have a production with Diana, a ruthless and power-hungry Pilates influencer, learns that her social media manager is hooking up with her makeup artist, and it sparks bitter jealousy. Do you feel the drama brewing? I feel drama. And even though dating an unknown unknown with 0 followers could wreck her image and brand partnerships. Diana says if she can't have him, no one can. So I want to give a little parental advisory that this play contains language and themes for mature audiences, and viewer discretion is advised. But if you want to catch the show that is called This Be at 7:30 Thursday, Friday, and Monday, April 3rd, 4th, and 7th at 7:30 Thursday, Friday, and Monday, and on Saturday, April 5th, Saturday, April 5th, excuse me. It'll be happening at HCC Central MERS stage. Reservations are encouraged, and check our post after the show for more info.
Summer registration has begun. Make the most of summer by locking in your classes to stay on track. HCC classes are still offered in a variety of programs, semester lengths, and ranges of modalities, including online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, both face-to-face and partially virtual, in-person and hybrid labs. So to learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover our cost, visit us at hccs.edu/apply.
We're looking ahead. Coming up for Film Friday, we'll welcome a local magician who is also a YouTube sensation for his hilarious videos where he inserts himself into famous people's newscasts, such as footage with Robert De Niro. And next week, we'll have a treat for Tasty Tuesday from a Native American chef who is a James Beard finalist and whose new restaurant has been praised by Texas Monthly, Culture Maps, Tastemakers Awards, and more. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. We'll see you next time.